Hey cruisers, we're on the very last day of our Carnival Miracle Cruise, and we're here to give you a review of the ship and a vlog of all of our activities in ports. We had so much fun. We're going to talk today about the ship, the ports, the pre-cruise experience, both the hotel and the parking in Galveston. We're going to talk about Carnival Miracle food, the service, the entertainment, and lastly, we're going to talk about 3 things that we did not expect and answer some listener questions. Let's start by talking about the ship, Carnival Miracle. We are on an 11-night sailing from Galveston, kind of a long one. We had 5 port days and 5 sea days. We're going to talk about those ports in just a bit. Now, Carnival Miracle is a mid-size Spirit class cruise ship that can accommodate about 2,124 passengers. She's an older ship. This ship entered service in 2004, which makes her 21 years old. And not only that, but this ship is actually getting ready to go for a dry dock in the spring. So as I mentioned, we boarded the ship in Galveston. We live in North Texas now, so we made the drive down. We stayed 1 night beforehand at the Residence Inn. It's a Marriott property, brand new hotel. It's right across from the beach, and you guys, I highly recommend this property. Really big rooms, and breakfast is included, which is so nice on your boarding day. You can just focus on getting yourself to the ship. But we had crazy, wild, cold winter weather, and it was very, very cold on Embarkation Day. So we were bundled up in jackets. It was like in the 30s. And I'm so glad that we brought those luggage protectors for our cruise tags, because trust me, we needed them. So if you saw our pre-cruise packing video, you don't want to miss that one, by the way. I'll link to it below. You might remember that we've partnered up with Cellular at Sea to tell you guys about their wonderful offerings for moderate mobile device users. So if you just want to make a couple of phone calls while you're on a cruise, if you're just keeping it simple, you're checking some text messages here and there, maybe checking your social here and there, and doing a little bit of internet browsing during your vacation, Cellular at Sea is really, really good for that moderate device user. But if you're more of a heavy device user, you're going to want to stick with the ship's Wi-Fi. That is an excellent option. We just want to thank Cellular at Sea once again for sponsoring this video and our packing video and making this trip possible. You can check out their services in our description. So embarkation day came and we had to get to the parking lot to get on the ship. Now we chose to park at the Galveston Express lot. There's no shuttle there. You just park there and walk straight to the ship. It's a little bit pricey and it is uncovered, but it's very, very convenient if you want to have control over what time you get to the ship, because again, you're not taking a shuttle. Boarding was super impressive. They started boarding the ship, you guys, at 10:30 a.m. in Galveston. But we had something happen that made us get on the ship a little bit later, which we're going to tell you about at the end of this video. So we were on the ship. It was time to explore the ship and explore our room. We booked an ocean suite on this one for a little bit more space since it was going to be the 3 of us traveling, and we're so glad that we did. It was just a wonderful experience having this nice big balcony and a sitting area in the restroom. Having a bathtub was great. Our son loved his upper bunk bed, and it was a fabulous, fabulous experience the whole entire week. As usual, with those first days, we were pretty tired, but we did make it to the Sailaway party, which was amazing and hosted by the awesome cruise director, which right now is Gary Blair. He's going home soon, but he did a great job. Then we had our first dinner in the main dining room, met our servers, had a really nice little booth down there, and then we hit the sack. Then we had back-to-back sea days to kind of get accustomed with Carnival Miracle again and just really relax. Let's talk about the ship. Because this is an older ship, it was built before things got really crowded on cruise ships. So you have 3 pools on a ship that holds just 2,100 people. That is pretty amazing. I would say that the ship is really clean and well maintained, but the best part when you're cruising on Carnival Miracle is really the hospitality that you feel at every single point in the journey. Everyone is so friendly, from the coffee shop employees to the waiters in the dining room. They're all just wonderful, and that hospitality really makes a huge difference. Let's talk a little bit about the entertainment. It really starts with the cruise director, and Gary Blair was amazing on this one. He is the cruise director, and there was always something going on. He would even bring his own flair with a Scottish dance class. Then, of course, you had all the classics. You had the 80s deck deck party, you had the silent disco, you had shows in the theater, and everything was absolutely awesome, you guys. It was so much fun. There was always something to do. They also did an incredible job with kids and teens on this particular cruise. Even though there were limited amounts of kids, they still did an incredible job. There was live music everywhere. They had a piano bar guy, they had live music at the Alchemy Bar, there was always live music in the atrium, and there was something to do around every corner. It was never boring by the pool deck. It was never boring anywhere. For our ports, we had 5 of them on this cruise. Several of them were totally new to us, and I don't know how we got so lucky, but you guys, we had perfect weather the entire cruise in all of our ports. So we started out in Montego Bay, and that is where we did a shore excursion with Shore Excursion Group to the Green Grotto Caves. That was a blast, and I'll link to it down in the description. We basically took a 1 hour kind of like a bus or shuttle ride out to the caves, and then we got a tour of the area. It was really nice, a little bit strenuous at the end when you need to walk up the steps to get out of the caves, but otherwise it was kind of a nice, refreshing change and something different to do in Jamaica if you don't really want to do a beach day. Then our next port day was Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic, and we had never been to Amber Cove before. This was a real treat. When we first pulled in, we were totally blown away by just how green and lush Amber Cove was, and we had booked another excursion through the Shore Excursions group to Damahagua Falls, and if you've ever heard of this excursion, it's pretty wild. You start off with a hike up to the falls. It's about 45 minutes, and much of it is uphill. You put on life jackets and water shoes and basically like swimming clothes. Women are supposed to wear shorts because it's kind of a, a rough slide here and there. And then when you get up to the top, you go through a series of waterfall slides and jumps. It's really hard to explain, so I'm so glad that I can kind of show it to you on camera. So if you're an adrenaline junkie and you're looking for something kind of thrilling to do on your cruise and you get to visit Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic, this is such a fun thing to do as long as you can tolerate the hike. I did have some people tell me that they did this tour in July, like in the summertime. We did it in January, and they said that hike was even tougher because it was so very, very hot. Next, we went to Grand Turk. Believe it or not, you guys, after 40 cruises, it was our first time in Grand Turk, and we fell in love with it. We could not believe that you could walk off the ship and go swimming in these crystal blue waters. The sea was calm that day, and we weren't sure what to do, so we kind of wandered around the Grand Turk cruise port, which was so clean and nice. And then we ultimately decided to walk down the beach, and we thought we wanted to go to Jack's Shack because that's what everybody tells you to do, right? If you don't want to stay at Margaritaville, go down to Jack's Shack. So we wandered that way. We looked at Jack's Shack, but we ultimately decided that the vibe just wasn't really for us. It seemed like it was fun, but it was early in the morning. We were only there from like 7 to 2, and the bar vibe just didn't feel quite right. So we walked back down the beach and we found something amazing. We found a little section of beach chairs, and the name of the company that was renting out the beach chairs at the time we were there was called Kay, Kay. And they had chairs for just $5 per person. So we snagged a couple chairs and an umbrella, went for a swim for a few hours, bought some sodas from the vendor, and then we decided just to get back on the ship because all aboard time was approaching. We had the best day there. Then it was off to Half Moon Cay, which is Holland America and Carnival's private island. That was really fun too. We hadn't been there for probably, gosh, at least like 18 years, and it's changed so much. That was also a beautiful day for us. The water was really, really shallow, so you could just walk out in it and enjoy. The sand was, gosh, that powdery white, just perfect beach sand. And again, we just had another really nice, relaxing beach day. That was a blast, and we're so, so glad that we had the opportunity to go back there. And for the record, if you're going to Half Moon Cay, I don't really think it's necessary to rent a beach chair, a clamshell, a cabana. Obviously, wear a lot of sunscreen, wear some proper sun protection, but there's tons and tons of seating, and you can have an amazing beach day and not spend a single penny there. Our last port stop was Nassau, and we had a lot going on that day. Junior had some stuff, obligations with school, we had some business things to do, so we didn't book an excursion or anything, but we did get off the ship and go check out the new port area, and oh my gosh, if you haven't been to Nassau in a few years, you guys are going to be so amazed. It feels so safe and secure. There's all kinds of shops, there's food, there's drinks, and it's a really comfortable environment to walk around in. I also walked outside for just a moment and crossed over to see what was going on in the straw market, and oh man, Nassau was busy when we were there. But then it was time to get back on the ship and enjoy our last few sea days, and that's exactly what we're doing. Tonight we have dinner reservations, but we've just been enjoying 2 more sea days to kind of bookend out the cruise. It's kind of neat having 2 sea days at the beginning of a cruise and 2 sea days at the end. I know everybody has a lot of questions about food and drink. Let's start with the wins. The first one was sea day brunch. It was really good. It was predictable. Every time we went, we enjoyed it. We really kind of got our little routine down. My husband liked ordering the yogurt parfaits and like an omelet, and my son would sometimes have cereal and an omelet, and I usually would go with like a Caesar salad with salmon on it and then some kind of an egg dish, and I just loved sea day brunch for that reason. Worked out great for us on those days when we weren't up and ready for breakfast at like 8:30 because we could go until 11:30. That's what time they close off sea day brunch on this particular ship. Also, I didn't have a huge amount of cocktails on this cruise because I didn't buy the drink package, but the lychee martini at the Atrium Bar is chef's kiss amazing if you're looking for a really good and not super sweet martini. More food wins. You guys, Guy's Burgers is so good on this ship. A few years ago when we were on Carnival, for some reason it was a little bit off, but let me tell you, it is back and we were so impressed. We ate Guy's many, many times for lunch, and I'm so glad that it was available to us. Also, Blue Iguana was terrific for both breakfast and lunch. And if you want a little hack, you can build like a bowl at Blue Iguana, kind of like a Chipotle bowl, put some rice and beans on the bottom. You don't have to do a tortilla, and then just go fill it with all the yummy stuff at the salsa bar. That was a great hack. Another thing that was so good on this whole cruise, and I don't know why, but any venue that we went to, the soups were amazing. The soups at Chopsticks in the buffet, fabulous. And for some reason, all of the soups in the main dining room were also just exceptionally good. It's like they have some kind of a fancy soup chef. I can't explain it, but it was so good. We also really liked the salad bar at the buffet, and we ate there quite a bit. And in the main dining room, the service and the timing were unbelievable. We had late seating dining, 7:45. Sometimes we'd be done with dinner, you guys, by 8:30 p.m. They were on it, and our servers were just absolutely exceptional. 20 out of 10. The pizza was also great on this ship, and the deli was wonderful too. There were 3 things on this cruise that we totally did not expect that I want to share with you. Number 1, on embarkation and in the ports, you guys, Carnival has added a lot of security. So at check-in, as we mentioned earlier, we had something that slowed us down. Well, what happened was my husband got pulled aside by security when the drug-sniffing dog part of security came up. And we've written a whole article about what happened with that experience that you can see down in the description of this video. Everything was fine. We never figured out what was in our bags that caused the problem, but I think I know what's going on. I think that Carnival is cracking down big time on recreational slash illegal drugs like marijuana, because I didn't smell any marijuana the whole time. And on my last Carnival cruise, it was prevalent. So good job to Carnival. I think it's working, but man, did we see a lot of security all around the ship as well. Security guards while I was playing ping pong out by the pool, security everywhere. And honestly, I'm here for it. The number 2 thing that surprised me on this ship, this was the nicest, most relaxing experience. Number 3, I was blown away by the hospitality on this ship. I haven't felt this rested after a cruise in a really long time. And again, that has something to do with the 11-night factor. It also has something to do with the fact that we didn't have to fly anywhere. We drove to Galveston, and that was really peaceful. But I also attribute it to the amazing staff, from Gary, the cruise director, to the dining room staff just being that really special traditional part of your cruise. Everyone just was friendly and made you feel very comfortable. Carnival and Princess are the cruise lines that we've sailed with the most. So these ships very much feel like home to us. And I gotta tell you, it felt amazing to be back on Carnival for these last 11 days. Carnival is fun. There's always something to do. There's always something going on. So that's a wrap for this vlog and review. Be sure to check out that packing video that we did before this one, because that has a lot of great tips and tricks if you're going on a Carnival cruise, very specific to your Carnival cruise, and it's going to be very helpful. And again, special thanks to Cellular at Sea for sponsoring a couple of videos in partnership with us for this journey, which was an amazing one. Leave us your questions and comments down below. And if you've been on Carnival Miracle, tell us what your favorite venue is. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.